Right, you getting that? Testing, 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 testing. Yeah.
this morning. As you can see, 30 for 5 the score on the board. And yes, apologies once again for the technical problems with the audio. Issues that have befuddled us, but we think we've, well, we have indeed found the bottom of it. Well done to Tony here at the ground. He's done a sterling job of making sure that all is working and you're hearing us loud and clear now. And as if by magic, perfectly timed, Danny Warren's about to sit down alongside me for the commentary, where we are working and up and running, which we're delighted to say. The game up and running as well, as here is the last ball of the 6th over. This ball's down the leg side and a wide signal, so they'll go again. 32 without loss. Kelly on 22 from 18, Beaumont on 7 from 17. That huge 6 down the ground from Kelly, the first boundary of the match. Crashed away a couple of 4s as well. A solid start for Lightning put in by Sunrisers here at Chelmsford. As there is the end of the 6th over, and it is 32 without loss. I'm Kevin Ham, bringing you the full commentary of this one for the rest of the day. Apologies once again for the technical issues with the sounds. I'm delighted to say alongside me is Danny Warren. Good morning to you, Danny.
Morning, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, very well. Very pleased to be here. A wonderful moment at the start, we should mark, as we've just, for the first time, joined with audio after a few technical problems, but a moving start, as it has been up and down the country, a moving couple of days.
Yeah, it definitely has, and to be part of it was, yeah, moving's probably the perfect word. It felt really poignant to be able to stand out there with people that you know well, with the girls together with their teammates, with the staff, and the whole ground celebrated a brilliant life and a great servant.
Kelly runs that one down to deep third, picks up a single, moves to 23, 33 without loss. Friday's games, of course, postponed, and rightly so. ECB cancelling day 2 of the test match at the Oval. Cricket resuming yesterday with the men's tests. And they will be getting underway in a few moments at the Oval. England resuming on 154 for 7 in reply to South Africa's 118. That's a lovely shot by Beaumont. Crunches it through the covers. Moves her into double figures. 37 without loss, the Lightning, and Beaumont moves to 11. Yes, it was, I'm sure we all watched on yesterday morning as well. Incredible, the scenes at the Oval. Incredible again, the scenes up and down the country. But play is underway. And again, apologies for those technical issues. You've heard the national anthem through the stream earlier and observed that minute silence on the stream. But good to have you with us, wherever you are. Tuned in this sunny morning, a bright sunny morning here in Chelmsford. Greenish tinge on that pitch out there. It's nicely steered, single taken. Not too deep backward square leg, 38 without loss. Let's have a talk about the toss. Deciding to win the toss, it was that greenish tinge.
Yeah, well, green's a colour we haven't seen for a while,
Yes.
isn't it? So it's been the talk of the team this morning. Like, the ground looks fantastic. It's amazing what a bit of rain can do for you. It's not just a pitch; it's a position you can put yourself in to control the game later on. And actually, it's a lovely day here at Chelmsford. The sun has come out. It started to bake up, and we were talking sort of 20 minutes before the toss. It doesn't really matter which way it goes, because I think by the time we got to 10:30, the wicket was going to be as good as a usual Chelmsford wicket would be.
It's just off the pads. It's a tunnel all right now, isn't it? The drive here this morning, there was mist all over London driving through East London, through the city. A misty morning, all right. I can imagine a fair bit of moisture out there. I'm just trying to think, the last time I was here probably was a Sunrisers game, and a parched outfield as it was then.
Yeah, we were here on the 16th of July, which it feels like a lifetime ago, and it was smack bang in the middle of that heat wave that we all probably think fondly of right now.
Yes. Run away to backward point, there's no run.
I turned up this morning with a beanie, a jumper, a jacket. It's quickly been replaced with sunglasses and layers taken off. So it's turned into a fantastic late summer day here at Chelmsford, and one that is perfect for cricket and perfect for a good game.
Managed Edged away down to deep thirds. Thick edge flying in the air. Single to end the over, 39 without loss. Kelly moves to 24, keeping the strike. Beaumont has 12. And yes, it's a funny feel being back, it really isn't it? Friday, we all knew it was going to be postponed really when the sad news came through. So, but nice to be back, I must say, on this Sunday morning. A lovely feel to it, as you say, with the blue sky up above as well.
Yeah, the sun started to come out during the national anthem, and it felt pretty fitting that that was the time that it did poke its head out behind the cloud. And you know, cricket has always been a very sort of emotionally sensitive sport, hasn't it? And the way they did it at the Oval yesterday, we just wanted to back that up and do justice to the memory of Her Majesty today. And it was a silent ground for that period of time, and yeah, brilliant to be part of, and so just part of a now extended period of events that we will mark her passing and celebrate what she's done. And like from a Sunrisers perspective, we'd like nothing more than to get that win on the board to and play a great game of cricket to do that in her memory and be able to say that we did it on this day.
Two great champions of the sport, of course, Prince Philip and Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Definitely, I couldn't quite get her to a Sunrisers game though. I've been at Lords when the murmur's gone around that she's in the ground,
yes.
But we haven't quite didn't quite get her
yes.
out to Chelmsford in a Sunrisers bucket hat. But perhaps Charles is the one that we'll tout down for that one.
That's chopped away nicely. Single down to deep third. Once more, and scoreboard ticks along to 40 without loss. Kelly's on to 25. Yes, an unusually greenish tinge just going to the pitch, back to the pitch here. An unusually greenish tinge really for Chelmsford, isn't it? Occasionally you do. It's renowned as the driest county, isn't it? But the ground staff will also look to leave a bit on if they can to make sure there's some life in it.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen a huge amount of movement yet.
Top bowls dug out as well.
But, hopefully with 3 spinners to take us through the middle overs, there might be a little bit more when the ball gets older and it starts to grip a bit. So yeah, it's the great thing about where our sport is now in the women's game is we're playing on fantastic pitches, and that creates great games of cricket, and it allows those girls to go out and play freely.
Bowled again. All round good cricket, nice technical defence right in behind that one. Beaumont into the offside. July 16th, you were last here. Just trying to think, goodness me.
I think I've got my maths right.
Yeah, well it feels like, well yes, that sounds about right, but it does feel like a long time since we've seen each other.
Yeah, and like that's why the girls are sort of just really want to get out there now.
Oh, that one goes through. That side off, just kept it fresh and low, looking to use her feet. Beaumont to that, played a part in it as well. Just affected what she was looking to do in the end, just stretching for the ball. 40 without loss, just a single off the over, a good one from Patel. Number 7 from her too. And Kelly 25, Beaumont 12. So yeah, obviously the break for the 100 playing a part in that as well. But everybody, as you say, I'm sure delighted to be back together.
Yeah, we came back in on Monday morning, or late Monday morning, Monday lunchtime, and like everyone was buzzing to be back in the environment wearing that shirt. I know the girls were supporting each other throughout the tournament, various games to watch, and yeah, it's just really nice to bring those. Everybody's had a busy August, so it felt like a landmark day where we could put in the diary and knew we'd be back together and we could continue the great work that we have been doing. So yeah, it's been a good period in many ways because it's allowed us to get a few players who haven't made an appearance yet this season ready to play. With Sonali just had the ball in her hand, and this is her first game of the year. Lissy's out there for the first time this year after getting injured at Lords way back in April. If July seems like a distant memory, April was consigned to history, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we've got some people out there, and obviously Jodie Grugop's got a chance to finally make her debut. So it's a really exciting day for us.
Just a thought on Friday, of course it doesn't matter in any sense, but just in terms of what what did happen, the logistics of it all. Had Thunder made the trip to Northampton, do you know?
They had, and I'm going to ask them for any directions as to where to go spend my Saturday morning if I'm ever in Northampton, because they had a nervous wait.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Again, at backward point, a single take, but it saves 3 runs.
Yeah. I believe that Thunder are down at the Aegeus Bowl today, so they were waiting to find out when they could actually head south versus north, and they probably know the good coffee spots in Northampton now after a few hours sat around waiting for that news. But everyone's really pleased that we've managed to play cricket today, and we wanted to do it in the memory of Her Majesty the Queen, and to be able to get out there and do what we do best. And as people have said in the last couple of days, sport brings people together in a way that many things don't, and we want to be part of that in our own little way.
Yeah, it's interesting. That was certainly a sentiment. Ben Stokes, I think, had tweeted as much, didn't he? That he wanted to play. Bowled again. Push back up the track. Yeah, as I say, not that it mattered at all in any sense in that way, but I was interested to know whether they did or had made the trip by that point, which I assume training was to take place the day before on Thursday as well.
Well, we trained. We were in Northampton, so as it was the first game back after the 100, we wanted the girls to spend the night together. So we were in Northampton as well for the evening. I wasn't there myself, so I don't know what they did with their free evening. Best not to ask that question. I suspect it might be slightly different to when I was playing. That they're so professional now that they would have probably still got their early night and behaved themselves in the correct way. So it was surreal for everyone. It was just a situation that you didn't really see coming until midday on Thursday, perhaps.
Oh, now that's going to be close. Going down, I assume. See a replay. But, perhaps looking at the way the shot was played as well. Drifting down the leg side. Beaumont happy to swing across the line, try and access square of the wicket. On the onside, wasn't looking to play down the ground at all. If she was, I think you'd have probably still been appealing now. If that was an on-drive, she'd attempted there. Bowls or played. Good fielding as well to back it up for her own bowling. End of the 9th, 41 without loss, just 2 off the last 2 overs for Lightning. Tightened it up nicely here. It was a huge 6 earlier from Kelly down the grounds over long on, but tight stuff otherwise. Yeah, how strange a feeling, everyone being back together again. The other day to, or when was that? Actually, when was the first time you were all back together again after the 100?
Monday morning we trained. So we trained Monday, Tuesday this week, knowing that we would then do pre-match training on Thursday, playing on Friday. So I've had a week back together now, and it's the girls have such a fantastic environment. It's brilliant to see.
Pierce the field once more. Sorry, you almost looked at me as though you said that already. I was dealing with technicals a minute ago and I wondered, did you say that? And I've just asked you the same question.
I can't say enough times how great they are together, so we could talk about it all day if you want, Kev. It's fine with me, because I think like the credit has to go to these girls. It's a tough period when half your group go away and do something else, and then you're working hard behind the scenes as a half a team.
Top bowled again, pace off.
And it's similar for staff. Like you've got staff that are doing different roles within August. You've got staff that are away with 100. You've got staff that are focusing on the academy. So it's a weird month. And we had it last year. We've tried to learn our lessons, I think, slightly from it this year. But it will take some time to really embed in and work out what you should be doing in that month, assuming the calendar keeps looking as it does.
So yeah, once more, another dot ball. Just 2 runs off the last 2 overs. A couple of dot balls to start this, the 10th. End of power play 1. How much of the 100 were you able to take in? Obviously, players here, there, and everywhere. Were you able to keep up with it all as you'd have liked to?
I wait for
that was away.
to bowl that one. I don't want to be the voice that everyone listens to when she takes a wicket.
Yes,
so,
yeah. Back for the second, that's a great stop. Oh, now is that direct? It was, and it's gone! Wow! There's the breakthrough. at the end of power play 1. The Lightning are 41 for 1. And coming back for the second. The breakthrough is made. Kelly clipping just wide of mid-on. Had run a comfortable single, and well, the stop was made to save, well, 2 in the end, 3. But Beaumont has to go. Run out coming back to the non-strikers then for 12 off 27. And the Lightning 41 for 1.
Please don't ask me who threw it.
The
The replay just failed us here, but there's congratulations being given out in equal measure to Jodie and Gayatri there, so we'll see who threw it. But I nearly did talk over the wicket then, didn't I? So this
well, it looks comfortable
commentary
too. Which, to be fair, what are you claiming that wicket?
Yeah,
now?
I am. You won't be able to shut me up now if that's how it works. But no, I think that's pressure. You said a second ago that they've only gone for 2 runs in the preceding 2 overs, and they're trying to keep up with the run rate. We know Chelmsford's a good wicket. Like we've seen 260 chased here, so you're going to come out feeling the pressure to make sure that you get you get enough runs on the board to do that. And then we're obviously want to come back for 2, and it didn't quite work. So we'll take that breakthrough. We're into them, and like the girls have bowled brilliantly. Up to Kate Kopak after the game she played at the Aegeus Bowl, and the 4 wickets she took at the top of the order there to get us into a really commanding position at one point in that game. Her confidence has grown. She's played lots of cricket over the last month.
Let's see, first ball for Bryce, eased away to point, and there's no run. There was a split second's indecision just before coming back for the second by Beaumont, and that's what cost her. She just hesitated momentarily when turning. And that was enough. It was tight. It was a very tight call. But Alsam, I think we all felt straight away.
There weren't many stumps to aim at either, so it's a great bit of fielding. Like the girls worked so hard at their fielding, at staying in the game all the time, and I guess the young kids coming into the team bring a lot of that energy with them. And we still haven't worked out who threw it, have we? So we'll keep guessing. There's a congratulations to Gayatri, but everyone's walking over to Jodie. So I guess between them there was a bit of work there. But
well, there was the stop from mid-on, and then there was the throw, which I assume then came from mid-wicket. Because there's two celebrations. That was what made me chuckle there, because I was just watching, because I'm seeing who it was that runs in now, does a high five, and then looks around. Who else am I celebrating with?
Yeah, it's a great. We'll put it down as a brilliant team effort. That, like, I think it's just reward for the spell that Sonali's bowled as well, and to play like Sonali, to have been missed all summer. The control she gives us with the ball is something that you probably don't know what you've got until it's not there. And she's been brilliant for us for the last 2 years. To have picked up an injury very first week of the season and not quite been able to shake it in time to come back in the earlier stages of this competition. You now see that she's bowled 3 overs for 8 runs, and that pressure really started to turn the game in our favour and put us in the position where they could get a wicket there.
Start of power play. Oh, at the end of power play 1, I should say. 42 for 1, Lightning. The end of power play 1. So Kelly 27, Bryce. Indeed, sorry, I said that was Bryce's first ball face, because it was on the screen away to our left, but of course it was Kelly seeing off the end of the last over, because the batters had crossed. That ruling has caused all sorts of chaos now in terms of, so it's a single, does get Bryce off the mark, in terms of when the catch goes up in the air. Various competitions and various levels around the world are slowly bringing it in, but it hasn't been brought in unilaterally. But obviously with a run out's a run out still, no matter what, isn't it?
Yeah, but I was going to say, it's the confusion of it not having been brought in across the board. I think it's the 1st of October it comes in officially in the laws of cricket. We've been playing it, so it's one that we have become more familiar with, and I guess we'll see how it does affect the game. When you're chasing, you want to sacrifice your wicket at times, but maybe that's something that you don't look to do as you get lower. Like it's going to change the way that people do approach those situations. But that said, look, these girls, they bat down to 12 these days, so it doesn't really matter whether you have to come in and face the first ball or not. You're still going to back yourself to be part of any chase or score setting.
It's beautifully bowled again. It's been a good spell from the river end here at Chelmsford. Just draw up the figures and see they have done so far. The internet wants to play. Oh, little inside edge. It's deep backward square, singles taken. Villiers went for 20 off her first two. Patel's done for 8 now. Off 3. Gaia Goals being credited with the run-outs, but it was that double stop, wasn't it? There was.
Yeah, that's where Jodie Grucock came into play. So on her debut, she's played a big part in the. Yeah, I guess you'd always say the key wicket of Tammy Beaumont, because she is so threatening to. That's yeah. Marie Kelly has a chance to take the game away, but Tammy's one you want.
No full toss. As far as Tatani at extra cover. Top ball ends the over, 44 for 1. It's just the 2 runs off the 11th. Yes, and Kopak is now none for 15 of her 6 overs, which is excellent from her. Yeah, it was just going back to that wicket, because it wasn't quite caught in shot on the replay as I scrub back on the stream.
It's a good thing we've brought it to life so eloquently,
yes.
isn't it? Like, anyone listening to us right now will feel like they lived it with us.
Oh, that goes through a good pace as well. Swing of the bat, hard at it from Kelly, but Patel pushing that one through. Yeah, it was. I mean, it looked like 4 off the bat, didn't it? It looked as though it was Kelly on strike, wasn't it? Had found the gap, but brilliant stop at mid-on, which pushed the ball just behind the mid-wicket coming around. So it's chopped away down to deep third, who's fine. So a long chase for Kopak to get around, and she does well, holding them to 2. Excellent fielding again. The fielding today so far has been outstanding from Sunrisers, which does finish me off on that piece of fielding. It was then the throw coming in from Gaia Goal to the non-striker's end after the initial stop, we think then by Grucock at mid-on, which had 1 saved the boundary to begin with, but 2 opened up the possibility of the wicket. So bowled, well played, technically very good again. In position early, Kelly. 30 from 39 now, so she's been slowed down a lot. We had quite a good strike rate to begin with. Just see that little bit of shape back in for Patel on that one. Not much movement, as he said. So perhaps maybe would have been thought with the greenness to the pitch. Face off slightly on that one. Top ball into the scorebook again, but yeah, it was that stop again at mid-on though. It's really set up the wicket. Onto the pads, but going down the leg side. End of, or is there one more to come? No, one more to come.
I was talking before the game with Jodie Grucock before she walked out to make her long-awaited debut. Like she obviously knew she was going to play on Friday, and then to have that taken away after a season of being around the squad but not getting on the pitch. And we were just discussing how getting in the game early, I said, like, when we were watching the toss, what would you like to do? And like as an opening batter, she said, actually, I don't really mind either way, because you're in the game in the field and you're in the game as an opening batter. At least I won't have to sit around, and like to be in the game like that at early stages in your debut. Look, she's 17 years old and an incredible talent, and that's not just with the bat that she's in the team for, but to be able to pull that out and create an opportunity for the team has been brilliant, and hopefully she takes that with her to throughout the game.
Yep, she's impacted that wicket that we have seen. Those bowling figures which we were just going through a few moments ago. Really good stuff to start up with from Sunrisers.
Kate Kopak's having a bit of a spell here. She's into her 7th.
Yeah, well, she's been right on the money. Edged, oh, put down at backward point. It was a sharp chance. Very sharp chance indeed. Flew quickly. Quite advanced at backward point there as well. It's going to be a wide down the leg side. And Cloud there at backward point really went quickly to her. She's quite advanced, almost a gully rather than a backward point. Flash straight at her. She'll be disappointed to put it down.
She will be. She's got fantastic hands, Lissy, and but she's another player. She hasn't played much cricket this year because she got a really unfortunate injury at Lords when we played an MCC day earlier in the year.
Oh, it swept nicely. Just a single straight to the fielder. Tee backward square. And she'll be advanced, I assume, because of those good hands, i.e. giving the chance of that catch carrying, whereas if she's on the edge of the circle, there's every chance it's falling short of her.
Yeah, she was in the perfect place, wasn't she?
Yeah.
It did come quickly. You watch it off the bat and hope that they stick. But she'll be disappointed. But it's also she's a great fielder, and she'll come back when the next chance is there.
It's driven nicely, only as far as cover. That offside field's well set. Just going back to that position, initially I called it backward point, then gully, but still looking at it now, it's a very wide gully though, isn't it? It's almost like, again, say it's a fine backward point, but she's not walking in, she's set there as a catcher.
And look, this perhaps reflects the pace that they're finding in the wicket out there, and the ability of the bowlers to hit off stump and still create opportunities.
Oh, it's bowled! Now, was there a little bottom edge onto it? Kopak has a very deserved wicket here in her 7th over. Bryce has gone for 1. And in the 13th, it's a second wicket for Sunrisers. Might have just swung straight across the top of it, and it took the top of off. Katie Kopak's bowled beautifully here. 1 for 17 now in her 17th. And 49 for 2 as Bryce to pass.
You're right. Kopak's bowled absolutely brilliantly. It's been another quality spell at the top of the order, and she's following on from where she was in Southampton when we played Vipers at the end of July. That she gets movement on the ball when she gets it right. There's a decent amount of pace behind it, and she's a key part of our team to get us going here. So look, that's very well deserved, and there's probably no one more relieved out there now than Lissy McLeod as well, which is
yes.
part of being a team is that other people will dig you out when you need it. And it's been a brilliant spell. She thoroughly deserved that, and as did Sonali at the other end. She's been brilliant, coming on, not giving anything away, making them work hard for every run out there, and that's all you can ask for.
Huge smile on her face there in the celebrations, wasn't there? I don't know if you caught it on the stream. She was mightily relieved. The bowler, I'm sure, even managed to smile as well in return. It does usually take a while, doesn't it, for a bowler to forgive and forget.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Kate's one of the quietest, most unassuming people, but when you give a ball, it's fast bowlers tend to have their own little personality when that ball is in their hands. So I'm sure she was thinking something to herself, but she would never say it out loud.
Edged! Oh, now it would have been there for a slip. Too wide for the keeper. Nothing at all for Mia Rogers to think about on that one, but Catherine Bryce, the Lightning captain, is off the mark first ball, replacing Sarah Bryce, and very nearly heading back to the pavilion. That's the 50 up, 50 for 2 towards the end of the 13th. Top ball to end the over, and 7 done for Katie Kopak, 1 for 18. So it really set the tone here for Sunrisers, opening up from the river end. Maddie Villiers had the first 2 from the Hayes close end. Patel's picked up and gone well since. 1 for 11, or 4 for her, but back in the pavilion. Beaumont run out by goal for 12 off 27, 1 off 5 from Bryce before she was bowled. Kopak in that over, and Kelly still there on 32 from 45. So 50 for 2 it is, and Bryce, it was off the mark first ball with that edge past the keeper. Would have been there for slip had there been one in place, but nothing at all that Rogers could have done about that one. Just trying to think about that July 16th game. Was that when there was the huge partnership?
It was,
wasn't it? There
yeah.
was 2 early wickets, a huge partnership, and
no, it was the opening partnership with us. So we were playing Western Storm, and Cordelia Griffith and Grace Scrivens put on 140, 150,
That was it.
I think.
That's cut through, that gets through on that occasion. Just find a cover and 4 runs it is.
Yeah,
Was it in reply there were 2 early wickets but they fought back then? Is that what I'm confusing?
If my memory's intact, I think we had them 5 down for around about 110, 111.
That was it.
I think.
Yes.
So there was
That's cut through, that gets through on that occasion.
rearguard action from
Just find a
Katie
cover and
George
4 runs it is.
who came in fighting fire with fire, I suppose you would say. And Sophie Lough took them home with a mammoth innings. So it was a great game of cricket, down to the 49th over in the second innings. So we're obviously hoping that today it's a slightly less nerve-wracking occasion.
Yeah, it was. It was quite the finish, quite the game, which again is the mark of the competition this year, as it was in the Charlotte Edwards really as well. It's been some really thrilling cricket, high standard cricket. Sweeper setback after those consecutive boundaries, just a single on this occasion. 59 for 2. So that last one slip out the full toss, which was a gimme really for Bryce to put away. That was crunched away now. Chase on here. I'll think about 2, but they'll come. Very good arm. Back into the non-striker's end. 2 more to the total, into the 60s. Lightning.
I have to admit, that game we're talking about, I listened to your voice quite a lot that day, Kevin.
Oh,
as
sorry.
I was driving. I couldn't make it because you know how everyone's
A shot just for a single.
just hold on while she bowls. You never know what's going to happen. While everyone's got rearranged events going on in their summer.
Yeah.
We were going up to a wedding. We drove from Southampton, where I'd been to watch the Women's Euros the night before.
Which game?
The Northern Ireland one, England Northern Ireland.
Ah.
So yeah, fantastic atmosphere, like inspiring, and to see even at that stage of the tournament, so many people getting behind the country and the sport was amazing. But we were driving up from there to Cumbria for a wedding that evening, so I spent the 5 and a bit hour drive listening to your dulcet tones.
Unlimited data usage?
Yeah, it definitely was. It ate into a little bit of it. To be honest, I would have paid for extra data if I needed to.
There we go.
But yeah, it was an emotional drive up, shall we speak? Because there's a lot of great cricket to watch, but you wanted to be here and be able to be part of it.
Yeah, I hope Guy Swindles and I did it justice that day. It was Guy with me.
It definitely was, yeah.
In your place that day, wasn't it? Actually, we'd had to work a little something, Guy and I, that day, didn't we, to make it all work? That he couldn't do the end of the match and I couldn't do the start, so I missed the first 30 minutes or so and he missed the last 30 minutes, and we both were, well, let's say I got the good end of the deal. Should we say that it was the back end to see a thrilling finish? Katie Kopac's done. 1 for 18 from her 7. Grace Scrivens going to bowl down below us at the river end, 63 for 2. I managed to get my kids to see the Germany-Denmark game at Griffin Park in the Euros. That was a great game as well. I think it was 4-0, 4-1 in the end to the Germans, who were sat on the halfway line for it. They were here for that game as well, actually. Was it in reply there were 2 early wickets but they fought back then? Is that what I'm confusing? Watching that thrilling finish. They managed to duck out today, though. They're at home with their grandparents.
You say, was that tension way too much for them for another Saturday?
Well, my daughter absolutely loved it. She lived and breathed every bit of it. I suppose dug out to backward point. They run. Plenty of backyard cricket with those two all summer.
Good. Are they at a club?
My son was, but school plays so much sport that he's managed to convince us that this ball's pushed back, there's no run. Hampton Wick they were at, but he's managed to convince us that there's enough at school, don't need to do any more during the week and at the weekends as well, which actually he's got a pretty fair point. There's a lot of sport at school, and with backyard cricket as well. A little inside tickle on that maybe, it sounded like there was 2 noises.
Yeah, Grace didn't go up as convincingly as someone who didn't think there was a bit of bat. It sounded like there was, but she's hit the money straight away.
Oh, dug out. Only just. Flighted but with pace into the block hole. It was well bowled by Scrivens.
It was great to see Grace get the ball a few times for London Spirit. She had a competition where she went from opening the batting and not bowling to getting 3-4 overs a game, and then you asked me earlier about whether I managed to take in any of the action of the 100. I think it might have been before we started to talk about the run out. And actually, I only went to one game, and it was the one game that Sunrise has played a hugely prominent role in for London Spirit, and Grace Scrivens and Naomi Tatani took them over the line against, I think it was Welsh Fire. I really was just watching them as opposed to the rest of the game. So it was, but yeah, they had that partnership at the back end of their innings in a low scoring thriller up at Lords. So it was really nice to see them, and the girls have gone well. I've seen Maddie with Over Invincibles winning the trophy again. Laura Marsh was part of the coaching team there as well. Could see so many of the other girls play a big role in it. Unfortunately, injury curtailed a couple of them. Cordelia Griffith missed half of it, and as did Amara Carr.
Down the leg side, start up from Joe Gardner. Wide signals. Gardner, who's still hit the biggest six that I've seen in women's cricket this year at Montage Road.
Yeah. Were you here for the one where she hit out the ground here?
Yes, I was actually. Was that big?
That was in the T20 campaign. I can't remember which game it was, but
I guess away 4 runs.
Went over into the flats on the left-hand side. That was a biggie.
Was that a T20? Was it?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Time passes so quickly, so
it could
strangely
also have been
in the summer,
last
doesn't
year.
it?
I have no idea.
No, it was.
It
was
all
definitely
merges
this year.
together.
Yeah, it was definitely this year. So I think I've seen her since the Wantage Road one, but I haven't seen her since the 6 here. It's a single out to deep square, which is why it confused me that it was the T20. But I think you're right, and I'd actually forgotten about this 6 because I was then commentating with her at Lords or at one of the grounds somewhere. I can't remember where we were doing a commentary, and of course the 6 got brought up at Wantage Road.
Yeah, that was massive. If she got the shot that she got caught on the boundary slightly to one side of those fielders, that was going just as far as well.
Should be a single. Into deep cover. Just looking back on those fixtures, yeah, Sunrisers versus Storm here was July 16th, wasn't it? Your memory's impeccable, and then it was Southampton the next week against Vipers. Before on to the 100 beginning. Nice shot. Just a single again though. That's the sweeper.
Honestly, I can remember dates and random things like that, but please don't ask me what I had for dinner last night. that one will probably be more of a struggle.
I go the other way. There's obviously something in that for psychologists. I can't remember dates at all. I can't remember birthdays. I can remember my children's birthdays, and that is
well done.
it. That's it. Yeah, well, that's the important one, isn't it? And my own, of course.
Yeah. Thankfully, Facebook tells us most people's birthdays these days, so you don't actually have to write them down.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's the staring at the calendar for however many months in advance when you plan things that you tend to have those stuck in there. If you ask me what day of the week it is, though, that's more of a struggle. The actual physical number date, and you can nail down where you might have been and what you might have been doing. But if you say what you're doing next Monday, the normal response from me is, what date is that?
Yeah, the cricket season does that for me with the days. It's like, which day are we on now? Especially when covering Middlesex 4-day games, you never quite know which day of the week they're starting. They're all Monday or Tuesday starts now from here on in for the rest of the season. Having been over the weekend in the earlier part of the year. Fielded by Tatani in there at Extra cover again. Started Scriven's second over. Yeah, it was the 2 early wickets in reply. As you say, it went on to be quite a few early wickets in reply, wasn't it? But 20 for 2 was the Western Storm start, as they were chasing 255 to win. After
another early wicket by Kate Kopak as well, so she's proven invaluable in the power play for us at the moment.
Sophie Luff's century, wasn't it? That was it. And she hit the winning runs as well, as I remember, didn't she?
Yeah, we'll stop talking about that
okay,
game
sorry.
now. Let's focus on what's in front of us. And
oh, now this could be close. Not out. Just had the feel of the whip into the onside about that one, and there you go, replaying the on drive, suggesting that was a straighter one from Scrivens, but going down. There's the call. It's a nice use of the feet. No run though. Straight to mid off. Single more out to deep cover. Wants to come the over. Big chase again out on that boundary. And we'll come back for the second comfortably. Yeah, that was where the 6 went from Gardner, wasn't it? That was what I was weighing up. What was the bigger 6 then? We got interrupted by cricket again, didn't we? Whether it was cause the 6 she hit at Wantage Road over long on was into the top tier down at the far end at Wantage Road. The 6 here, as you say, was into the flats, but Chelmsford is that slightly smaller ground, isn't it? Trying to remember the pitch position for that particular 6. Probably similar to where we are today, actually.
yeah, they were different though. She went straight at Wantage Road, didn't she? So like I guess the cricket traditionalist would much prefer to see you taking it downtown and go that way. So like that's a hell of a skill to be able to hit it that far. Here it was a bit more of a just in front of square. We obviously, it cost us a cricket ball here, so I much prefer the one at Wantage Road anyway. But like she's got that in her locker. She's really powerful with the bat.
It's away to backward point. There's no run. You'll have the similar one when you play your. Just thinking of the number of games that you played at Radlett. There was the one against. What was the friendly game?
We played Vipers.
Vipers it was, wasn't it? Ahead of finals day. That's hit in the air, just short of mid off. Went hard, went fast, went very low was the problem though. Actually carried a lot, much further than probably any of us thought. Quite make it though. In the end, mid off. This one might. No, it's straight at the fielder and 4. Lovely shot. Little shuffle. And bumps it back.
You weren't there, but she actually hit another lovely straight 6 at the Aegeus Bowl.
Yeah, I miss the away games.
Yeah, sorry. But you can
the budget
come with us
doesn't stretch
next
that
year,
far. Yeah, exactly.
It's purely voluntary, that one,
yeah.
I'm afraid. But she in the chase that her and Jess nearly got us so close. She took another one downtown over. I actually think she took long on off and went straight over their head for quite a distance. So she's more than capable of that, and like a key player for us with the ball.
Nice use of the feet again, just a single though. To deep cover. Apologies to our umpires today. I should have mentioned them again when the audio started working. Bainton was the umpire. That appeal in the last over turning down. Rose Dovey standing at the moment. Single more down to long on, end of Gardner's second over. So none for 14 for Gardner. Scrivens done for 5 from her 2 at the river end. Bryce is 22 from 17 now, just settled in after the Quick loss of those wickets. Kelly still there with 42 from 59. Jason Swift is the match official away to our left-hand side as well, former Sussex assistant coach and batting coach. Scrivens to keep going. Had a sensational match here in the T20s, didn't she, in picking up her best figures. Oh, goes through outside off. I should check actually, they're still her best figures now. I think they are.
She took 4 again up in against Diamond, so I've lost count of the number of times I said to her this year, you didn't deserve to be on the losing side.
Yeah.
Everyone in the country knows she's an incredibly talented young cricketer, and those who don't have the honour of working with her day in, day out probably don't realise what an amazing person she is, but also like she's got a great cricket brain. She's 18, but she picks things up, and yeah, she's brilliant to have around. Great fun. Incredibly smart for a young girl. So yeah, I really enjoyed working with her and having her around the group, as do everyone.
I was just checking in on that she is still 18. She hasn't turned 19 yet, not till November 13th. Incredible talent.
Yeah, somehow she managed to combine being a professional cricketer and doing her A-levels this year and getting some really decent A-levels. So I wish I could juggle things as successfully as she has.
It's a good start. Point saves the boundary again. Just a single taken by Bryce. Moves to 25. Yeah, she took 4 for 20 against Diamonds at Leeds.
So that would have been a 50-over game.
Yeah.
So we can call them both her best figures because they're in different formats.
Indeed. Oh, gets through again. Dot ball, just the 3 off the over, 1 ball to come. Good start here again from Scrivens. That was punched through. Just a single to end the over though. 86 for 2, end of the 19th. 43, Bryce on 25. Good partnership building together again here. Worth 37 at the moment, but useful runs indeed. And again, that's a mark of how Kelly slowed down a little here, that Bryce is 25 from 20 of this partnership and Kelly's 43 from 62. Ball start up the new over for Garner. She's got Laugh and long on back, deep cover and deep mid wicket. Nicely floated up, nicely played as well though. Good connection from Kelly, who's on to 44. Oh, that's top edge. Now, chance. Just out of reach. Kopak coming around from short, fine leg. They're going to pick up 2 as well. Attempted sweep from Bryce. She moves to 27. Very nearly her downfall, though. Just got herself into a bit of a bad position as she brought the bat down onto it. That's edged away. But fine of backward point. Down to deep third. Goes Patel with the chase. Taking a couple more. You've got the stats up. Steal them. Don't bother giving them to me. I'm going to need binoculars to see
I've only got her
those.
Sunrisers career. I'm not quite.
Is it still the 4 for here though? The best.
The best is 4 for 20, which I believe was
the Leeds
Diamonds
match. Yeah.
game. I think she was slightly more expensive in the T20, but then it was 160 played 160 couple.
Yeah.
So not surprising that the bowler's got a bit of tap that day.
Chops away to Patel at backward point. Oh, just steps over it. It'll bobble perhaps on those run-ups on the pitch in front of her there. They have a single. 91 for 2. That ends the 92 for 2. Sorry, ends the 20th over.
With a top score with the bat of 74. So let's see which one of those we can beat today.
Yeah, amazing talent, she really is. Looking at Murray Kelly's run of late, it's her top score since she hit 37 at Chestley Street against the Diamonds. Only managed a top score of 22 for the Rockets in the 100. Oh, that gets through again from Scrivens. Struggled to get her away outside off, haven't they? She's just kept that line tight to the off stump.
Yeah, she has nice control over the ball, and the pace she bowls is difficult to get away when she hits the right areas.
She bowled again.
Here's a bit of trivia for you, super Sunrisers fan, Kev. So I caveat this with I hope that I've got the stats correct.
Yeah.
My job isn't to be stats.
Nice stroke. Just a single for Bryce. Moves to 31.
Today's the 30th official match, competitive match that Sunrisers have played.
Yeah.
In our history.
Yeah.
There are now 2 players that have featured in every single one of those for us.
It's chopped away to backward point. There's no run. The name that immediately springs to mind is Naomi Datani, but I've got a feeling she had an injury. It wasn't Datani.
No, you got it right.
Oh, I did.
That's the first one to start with.
I had a feeling she had an injury and missed one, but maybe I'm confusing it with the Middlesex women's game that she missed through injury. So Datani, yeah, that was the one that immediately was going to spring to mind. This ball's driven, but fielded in the onside. There's no run.
No Googling it.
No, I'm not going to Google it.
I was going to give you this one as it's a subject of our conversation, but you've stepped straight past that.
Scrivens again bowls, and this ball's pushed back up the track and no run. Kate Kopak. Scrivens. She's played every game.
Yeah.
Right, I'd never have got Scrivens.
There you go.
That was why when he said I stepped past it, I was thinking, who was the one who we had a long chat about recently? Because I'd never have gone.
I was going to team up my question up with Grace Scrivens is one of them. Who is the other? But as you went straight in to answer it, and I thought, well, you're going to have to work on this.
Well, I was proud of getting to Tani, but then, yeah, I was pretty confident on that one. But Scrivens, I'd probably have gone through a good number of players before I got to Scrivens, and being the second player that she's played them all. Yeah.
And she actually only met the team the day before our first game.
Yeah, well, exactly.
She came on loan from down in the Stars region at that point. So yeah, she has been an ever-present, as has Naomi Datani. And today's the first game that Kelly Castle has missed. Unfortunately, missing out with an injury she picked up in training on Thursday prior to the Northants game. So
it's quite a record. So I mean, again, for Datani, injury-wise is the thing, isn't it? That was dragged a little shorter, but it should just be a single. It is. That's a deep square. Yeah, that was why I hesitated on Datani, because there was something in the back of my mind that said there was an injury. But yeah, likewise for Castle. It's quite the record to not miss a game through injury as well. There's you know, selection obviously, but injury first and foremost. Just a single. It's well fielded. Kopak getting around. That short, fine leg. That was why, again, for Scrivens, I would not have gone for Scrivens. So she only met up with everybody the day before the first game.
She nearly went to the wrong place as well.
Well, I have to admit, as I drove up to the ground this morning, there was part of me that thought, do you know what, I didn't double check it was definitely Chelmsford today. In my mind, it was Wantage Road followed by Chelmsford, and I just thought, when did I last actually look to make sure that it was Chelmsford this morning? It has been known for commentators to go to the wrong, and indeed players, I think, to go to the wrong grounds. Often an outground issue, isn't it, when the player's gone to the wrong outground? I've heard of that one.
Yeah, we've had a couple of examples. Not fortunate on match day, that would have been slightly more problematic. But we've had a couple of people go to the wrong training venue a couple of times. But yeah, you then test yourself and say, has our comms been as good as they could be?
Just be a single, 3 converge. I think in 2, the back they come for the second. And they will manage to do so. Place the ball in between square leg, mid wicket, and the sweeper in the deep with the 3 converging. That single it is, and end of the 22nd, 97 for 2. Yeah, I won't name names, but there was an Essex commentator I know that went to the wrong. Was it the wrong Kent outground? I was trying to think. Although I did, fortunately, it wasn't a horrible error. I went to the wrong ground once, but only the wrong ground in Bath. There was 2 Bath cricket clubs, and I went to the wrong Bath one. They said, no, it's that one down the road there. So back in the car and along to the other Bath cricket club. Blame the sat-nav on that one.
Fortunately, Bath isn't that big.
No, exactly, yeah.
And it's quite a pretty drive. I used to love playing at Bath Cricket Club. So as you've now told me, there's 2. I could be talking about a totally different one. The white wall back behind one end for the bowlers, which had a pretty substantial hill on. So you'd be fielding at
yes.
deep mid on, deep mid off, and or otherwise known as long on and long off. And you'd be a good 4 or 5 foot above where your teammates might be on the square. So it was a very quaint ground. But yeah, I used to love that. We used to go down there and play club cricket when Bath were in the Southern Premier League.
So pads were going down. Yeah, I remember the commentary position there was square on and was on something of a hill ridge on the side as well. So it probably swept around that lofted position.
And this was on the main road going into town by the river. You always get people stopping at the end, just watching over the railings as the game was going on. So yeah, lovely ground down there.
Do you ever do that when you stop at a traffic light outside a cricket ground? There's a club game going on. You just watch it. Come on, bowl before the lights go green. You punch the air when you actually see a ball delivered. It always seems to be bowlers halfway through the run up when the lights go green. Oh no, missed it.
That's the 50 partnership up there.
Yeah, 99 for 2. It's been a really good effort by the Suri building from 49 when the wicket was picked up by Kopak.
It's that stage of the game of who blinks first, an area that we're determined to be the ones that win the staring competition.
Where do you go on double your score? I mean, the old adage was double your score at 30, wasn't it? But List A cricket has changed so much with power plays and all sorts over the years. Where do you stand as when there's a team discussion? What's the process of thinking about what telling players? Obviously, they've got to make an in-game judgment as well, haven't they? But is there a rough rule of thumb that says double your score at 30, double your score at 25?
I think you have to adapt to the situation, and there's probably a bit more thinking around that now. Like you see with we've only got the 10 over power play at the beginning of the game where there's fielding restrictions, and the rest of the game is as standard.
That's a decent connection, and it goes all the way over Cloud at mid-on for 4 more. Nice shot, 100 up for the Lightning, 100 runs on the board, and sweetly struck by Bryce.
Like we saw today, how quickly you come out of the traps with 2 new balls has made a big difference as well. So two brand new balls, which means you get slightly longer with that on. They come out of the traps in the first 10 overs. Their run rate was much higher than it currently is. So there's probably a few more fluctuations in the game than there used to be. But yeah, in terms of how you build that innings, I think there's so much talk about the match situation, the partnership that you're in, the bowlers. Like you do so much work now with matchups and different bowlers at different stages of the game. that it doesn't seem to have a straight trajectory towards that.
Yeah, it is. I think, again, T20, I think, has just changed everything, what's capable, isn't it? I had to correct myself, actually, when I said, and into power play 2. No, I mean, end of power play 1, when the first 10 came to an end earlier on. Just a single out to deep cover. But, yeah, the way teams go about chases now, I mean, certainly in the Royal London fixtures that I was watching in August, you know, the back 10 are now, even though that's power play 3 as they have it in the men's game, with 5 back on the ropes for the last 10, that's still seen as the last 10 should be 100 runs, which is extraordinary, isn't it? That's when you've got the most fielders back, but that's when you score 100. And there's no concern about scoring 100 off the first 10. This goes up in the air and taken at backward point. Patel has the catch. Gardner the wicket in her 5th over, 1 for 29 for her, and Bryce just short of a half century, falls for 46. Top edge flies up in the air. It was well taken by Patel. Kelly departs for 46. It's 104 for 3.
And Jo thoroughly deserved that. I think she's bowled better than the figures suggest, and on the scoreboard there she's kept a good line, a good length, and yeah, there's been a bit of a freeing of the arms by the batters there, so she really deserved a chance to get her name in the scorebook there, and hopefully that helps her kick on to bigger and better things. It's the first year she's bowled spin, and it's a hard skill to do. We've already seen there's not a huge amount of anything coming out of the pitch there, so it's more about making sure you're slightly smart with the angles that you create and the pace that you bowl at. So yeah, really well deserved, and really chuffed for Jo Gardner to get her name in the scorebook there.
So the partnership broken, 49 they were when it came together, 55 the partnership for the 3rd wicket, and well, it's a crucial one for Lightning. It was just giving him that footing, as you say. Who's going to blink first? Well, it was Lightning. There were a couple of times there were 2 top edges in as many overs from Gardner, weren't there? The other one falling just wide of Kate Kopak at short fine leg. This one well taken by Patel at backward point. Never easy ones top edges either.
No, not when you've got to go backwards looking over your shoulder. But yeah, safe pair of hands in the end there from Sonali, and yeah, she's been in the game a lot on her first appearance of the season.
Yeah, bowled really well, didn't she, from the Hayes close end. Done for 24 from 5, but probably bowled better than that suggested.
Well, I think 13 of those came off the last over, so it was a pretty decent spell, and then just a couple. I think a couple went through the inner ring on the offside before we put the sweepers back that ruined the figures. But it's the pressure that they built up at that point, and now it's for us to build that pressure again and put these guys on the back foot. Now they've got to build another partnership, and hopefully a chance for us to really start to take a couple of quick wickets in the middle and impact the final score that we chase.
Bethan Ellis, the new batter. Now 5 for Sunrise, for Lightning. It's well dug out. Once again, well bowled by Scrivens. Starting her 6th over. Just 2 and over. 1 for 11 off 5.1. Those wickets that have gone, excuse me, Beaumont was run out goal for 12 from 27. Sarah Bryce was bowled Kopak for 1. Kelly, the 3rd wicket to go now. Caught Patel off Gardner for 46 from 72 deliveries, 82 minutes, 3 4s, and that 1/6 of the innings so far. Now, was there a little tickle? There was! Scrivens has a wicket now as well. 1 for 12 for her. Ellis is caught behind for a duck. Nia Rogers takes the catch, and Scrivens punches the air in delight. She knew straight away that there was a little noise. They waited for the finger to go up from umpire Bainton. Got the decision they wanted. 2 wickets in 2 overs, and big moment in this Lightning innings, having been put in here by Sunrisers. It's 105 for 4.
ironically, it's probably the loosest ball she's bowled for the whole spell, but it's picked up a wicket, and I sound like a bit of a broken record, but again, so she just thoroughly deserved that, and Mia Rogers thoroughly deserved to get the catch behind the stumps as well. Another player who's waited really patiently for her opportunity. She had the gloves at the back end of last season with Mara Carr out injured. She finally got a chance to take them back out into the middle. Worked really hard over the last 12 months, and yeah, it's great to see it when these girls get that reward for the effort that they put in. So here we go, a big period in the game coming up.
Just had a message from the match referee. You think you're in trouble, don't you, when you see that?
Oh, what have you done now?
Didn't realise you were here, says Swifty.
Well, it's nice to know he's listening to us.
Oh, he's obviously looked to his right. Is he listening? He'll give us a thumbs up if he is. But is he allowed to listen? He might not be.
Probably not. We might be swaying him with some of our comments.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Totally unbiased. Is obviously just the dulcet tones of what weave their way across the press box up here at Chelmsford. It's a great view up here, isn't it? I haven't visited many press boxes in my short career at first class grounds, but this is a great view. You're almost behind the bowler's arm. We're slightly weave their way across the press box up here. You get a great view at Chelmsford. It's a great view up here, isn't it? I haven't visited many press boxes in my
just seen on the stream as well.
Career
it actually looks a picture, doesn't it? It's a lovely. I don't know what angle they've got it at up there, but it's a lovely shot of Chelmsford.
But this is a great
shot
view
as well.
You're almost behind the bowler's arm.
He and I were a supporter for each other.
Weave their way across the press box.
Each other when Jason Gillespie was the Sussex coach and always wanted to stay for one more round. I'll stay for one more with him tonight, Swifty. You can go home.
You got your money's worth then, didn't you?
Mrs. Swift and also Mr. Swift's liver were quite happy, I think, when Jason Gillespie returned to Australia. Yeah. Big champion of the game in all formats and in all levels. Jason Gillespie. Still a big fan of the domestic game in the UK as well. I know he often tunes into all the streams from around the country now. The men's and women's game. There's Boyce, who was expecting to come in last for Ellis, but it's Georgie Boyce who comes in at 6. Numberless on her back. Let's remember that for when they're in the field, like.
Yeah, I think she's just joined.
Tight on first up, right in behind it. Just be a single out to Gardner at deep mid-wicket.
Yeah, she spent her career at Thunder and has just moved over to Lightning. There's a very threatening weather storm going on there, isn't there?
It will indeed. Decided to step clear of it, or step clear of the Thunder anyway. I'm just thinking, did she play against Sunrisers this year? It must have been last year I commentated